Orgasmic enlightenment, where the sexual and spiritual come together. I'm Kim Anami, and I'm a holistic sex and relationship coach and a vaginal weightlifter. In this show, we explore all things intimate. I believe that our sexual energy is life force, creative energy, and we can use it to shape our worlds, strengthen our relationships, and self-actualize. I blend the most avant-garde information from neuroscience, ancient sexual practices like Tantra and Taoism, to renegade wellness modalities to show you how to create gourmet sex in your lives. Come one, come all. Natural breast enlargement. I saw a meme recently comparing the female body and the beauty standards of 3 different time periods. The woman of the 1500s is classical, great bone structure. She's slim with some light natural curves. The 2000s Franken body has duck lips, lumpy filler-fold face, a big fat injected ass, and massive cantaloupe tits. And the current female form is back to a more natural look. The face is much more like the 1500s woman, and her body is closer to that ideal as well. Slim, natural curves, but with a bit more athleticism, muscle definition. I am so glad to be out of the era of all of these Franken monster body parts. The whole done nails, done tits, done face thing is so utterly tacky and déclassé. Apparently, there's even a trend now for women not to be getting their fake nails and just going nail and naked. Excellent. This is all great to see. So let's talk about tit validation, low self-esteem, and the great tit psyop. Honestly, the idea that for decades, so many women have been so desperate for validation that they cut their chests apart is so sad to me. Tits are the great psyop. The obsession with them, the constant evaluation of them by men, and talking about it so publicly is a form of cock gaslighting. Yup. If women become so fixated on the size of their breasts and how sexually worthy or unworthy this makes them, then they won't be so concerned about the only measurement that matters: cock size. Look, you can have a preference for what you like. Oh, I love big tits. Honestly, who fucking cares? Because functionally speaking, breast size is wholly irrelevant. You cannot say that about a cock. It's the only size that's relevant when it comes to performance. The length, the width. This is what women ought to be discussing and drawing constant attention to. How big is that guy's dick? How big do you think his dick is? Is he longer or is he girthier? Are you sure he's at least 6 inches? Yeah, that's the truth of it all. Instead, men try to distract women from the real size matters question and get women panicked about their tits. And it's worked. Women are so obsessed that they hack their bodies apart. They slice in giant, toxic, carcinogenic plastic bags in the hopes that men will like me better. When really, it's guys that ought to be getting cock enlargements. And look, I would never recommend surgery, but I can help you gain at least another inch in length and girth in my Sexual Mastery for Men program. Personally, I love an elegant French girl tit. Petite in proportion to a lithe frame. You can wear low cut and no bra everything, and it looks super sophisticated rather than tacky. Although I do love seeing naturally large-breasted women rocking no bra and owning it, but this is pretty rare. What I found over the years is that even with women who do have large natural breasts, they end up disowning them in the same way that women who feel they have small chests do. but for the opposite reason. They've become uncomfortable with receiving too much sexual attention, and so they try to downplay what they've got by wearing baggy clothes, slouching their shoulders, and no way do they own what they've got. The irony is that generally the women who most have their tits in your face are the ones who've paid for them. They really, really want you to look at their tits. I mean, why else would they buy them? To see if it will indeed change and better their lives. Where we want to land is with women owning what they've got, big or small, and then optimizing and self-actualizing. Meaning, when women fully love and show up in their breasts, and they combine that with them activating their sexual energy, they find they gain size, lift, and firmness, a cup size minimum, just through the act of owning and loving their breasts. They stop dissociating and their breasts come to life, finding their ideal form for you. That might mean gaining a cup size or a noticeable lift. They firm up, they self-realize. So the episode title is Natural Breast Enlargement. For the record, do I think that women ought to be obsessed with getting larger breasts or stressed about this in any way? Definitely not. Like I've said, I actually prefer the look and the vibe of smaller, more elegant, at least I see them that way, breasts. But I still respect you mesmerizing big titty mamas. What I do aim for is getting women of all sizes and shapes to own what they've got and to be able to tap into the metaphysical powers of their breasts. You cannot do this when you are dissociated, cut off, or resent them in any way. So what I've seen in this work and what I love to showcase is that as people begin to love and own themselves, all of their body parts, and especially their sexual ones, their bodies transform. When people are dissociated from their sexual energy, they're cut off from it, this will literally manifest in their body parts being cut off, as in removed. We see it all the time with women and their breasts, ovaries, uteruses, and cervixes. They are considered disposable, or at least that's what they try to say to you via the allopathic system, who are fully gunning for these organs for their resale and ritual value. Not only is this supremely demented, it's a total insult to the reverence and power that you have access to from these organs. In order for this scam to work, meaning convincing you that removing your organs is going to do anything but make you a lifelong candidate for hormone therapy, women have to be susceptible to this ideology. They have to be so removed and cut off from the energies of these organs and their sexual selves that this could even happen to begin with. And as we see all the cultural focus and projection on women and their body shapes and sizes, it makes them easy targets. Take that plus the allopathic system convincing women that they just don't need their reproductive organs so they can take a lifetime of hormone therapy instead. And now you have a huge market capitalizing on low self-esteem and sexual disconnect. When women become connected to their sexual energy, they own and inhabit their sensuality. They wear this energy. It emanates from them. Now, this can be frightening for women to show up as a sexy bombshell or even a hint of one. She might fear male attention that suddenly puts her in a spotlight, and there's a risk of potential danger. So instead of embracing her sexual energy, she has learned to cut it off and to hide it. She puts it into a box, not the right box, haha, and into storage. She rationalizes that she doesn't need it. This could be destructive and harmful to her. These are the messages that women and men receive. The fear of being seen sexually. So this fear can also show up in women gaining excess weight. They use it as a protection, a distraction. They obscure themselves. They put layers of fat and cloaking around them so they exist as an amorphous being. What does amorphous mean? Without a clearly defined shape. Not solid, not crystallized, hiding within. So in Anami land, we come out sexually. We hunt down any sexual demons we may have, we look them in the eye, and we force them to back down. And they do. When this happens, we see the body change. A Pilates style reshaping, or in gym language, a body recomp starts to happen as though you've been going hardcore in the studio. Except you haven't. You've just been going hardcore in your bed. And not because you're burning all these extra calories or you're having sex in contortionist positions that are sculpting your abs or your butt. It's because you're now inhabiting all these parts of yourself. You're owning your sexuality. You're owning your inner bombshell energy. And as you own it, it pours forth from every cell of you so that your own body, this holographic reflection of your inner truth, begins to reshape. Western medicine mostly says that these things are impossible, except for the quantum healing, quantum physics angle, which tells us that actually not only is this possible, it's happening to and within us all the time. In Anami land, when women begin connecting to their sexual energy, owning it and flowing it through them, everything changes. They see it in their bodies, especially their breasts. They fill out, they lift, they firm up. Like I've said, it's quite common for women to gain a cup size or more. Their reproductive ailments evaporate. Difficult periods, menopause or the symptoms of menopause, cysts, growths, endometriosis, PCOS disappear. Because they have alchemized their stuck sexual energy, their own internalized oppression and dissociation, and they move through it. They come out the other side like the phoenix arising from the ashes. New energy, new, more authentic self, new body, and new sexual expression. Because again, they have processed these stored issues and released them. They no longer need or want this cloak of obscuring and invisibility. They let themselves shine. In fact, the shining becomes unstoppable. It flows out of them without them even having to try. This is the mystique of the well-fucked woman. She radiates beauty and charisma because she now owns every ounce of who she is. Nothing is more magnetic than someone who does this. And she becomes unfuckwithable. The exact same parallels happen when I work with men in the Sexual Mastery for Men Salon. They release their sexual blockages, they own their masculinity, their sexual power, and boom, their cocks grow. All right, so now that you have all of this background information, which is important because I want you to understand all of these elements behind why these things don't happen, why we suppress our own radiance and ability to put ourselves out there in the world. And this is why, and this is how you change it. So these are the 6 best tools for natural breast enlargement. Number 1, sexual activity increases breast size by 25%. That's the level of swelling that happens when you are aroused. So if you're having some kind of sex daily, whether it's by yourself or with your partner, you are reaping and wearing the benefits. Number 2, breast massage. 5 minutes a day does the trick. The women in the all-star excerpts that you're about to hear did all of these things they talk about using my breast massage routines and all of this other additional work from the Well Fucked Woman and Vaginal Kung Fu salons. The breast massage techniques are powerful, but what you're also doing is combining them with this whole reconnection, loving, and owning of the breasts. The daily massage and loving contact is giving them the nurturing and the valuing that they might never have received. Number 3, clearing any kind of internal blockage and resistance to fully owning and inhabiting your breasts. So I've talked about this throughout the episode. Any unresolved issues connected to your breasts, how you feel about them, will keep you contracted and small if they aren't released. You shrink instead of taking up space. When you feel fully free and open, everything expands. Your life, your heart, and your breasts. Number 4, clearing any kind of internal blockage and resistance to fully owning and inhabiting your sexual energy overall. Your breasts are the most obvious physical projection of your sexuality out into the world. When you are fully reconciled with yourself as a sexual being, you own all of this energy, and the holograph of your body reflects this solidity, this crystallization within you. Think about it, the concept of walking around with your chest out, proud into the world versus being hunched over and trying to be invisible. Number 5 is getting your sexual energy flowing through your body. Sexual energy acts as a massive energetic scrub brush, going in, excavating, releasing everything in its path. In my salons, I teach different practices for mobilizing and recirculating stuck sexual energy. Whenever, wherever you've had energetic blockages, the flow stops. Unwanted growths occur. Any and all reproductive ailments are the result of stuck sexual energy, places where you've suppressed emotional and body experiences. Once you liberate this energy, your sexuality is free to move and flow and act as the powerhouse and turbo fuel in your life that it was always meant to be. And the 6th is reconnecting to your heart. In Taoist philosophy, the heart and breasts are connected. The breasts are seen as an extension of the heart. As you release your defenses, you bring down your walls, you clear debris from your past, and you alchemize it all. You begin to live from an unguarded heart. And that extends into allowing yourself to be vulnerable and seen, to lead from your chest, your heart, and your breasts. And yes, this also translates into expansion. So let's hear from 3 of our well-fucked all-stars who went through the salons and had radical breast transformations. We'll start with Amanda, and this is from the episode Ecstatic Nipplegasms and Breast Orgasms, which is season 3, episode 3.
Well-fucked all-stars.
Well, my entire sexual journey started with your work. I took both the Well-Fucked Woman and Vaginal Kung Fu, and so for me, it totally started with the Well-Fucked Woman, and actually the whole connection with my breasts, I feel like, was really the gateway to opening up the rest of my whole sexual experience. Basically, by the end of doing your work, I totally became I went from never ever having an orgasm to becoming multi-orgasmic in a really short period of time, which completely surprised me because, I was just kind of how am I going to feel, this pleasure and stuff that she talked about? And like I said, for me, I think that the biggest gateway was definitely the breast. I actually started to feel pleasure by massaging my breasts really regularly and feeling that sense of self-love that you talk about. The breasts are representative of nurturing and all that and your own love for yourself. And it just really helped me to reflect on, I guess, how much self-love I was not giving myself, especially that time in my life, having a really young son, working so crazy. I was just completely and utterly depleted. So yeah, like at that time in my life, like when I think back to what my breasts, like physically looked like, they looked exactly as depleted as I felt. Like they were super duper, super saggy, like really small. They had shrunken actually a little bit. And when I started to do the breast massage and like really, really intentional, like really trying actively, to give myself that self love, they completely changed. Their physical form actually changed as well. Like I actually said, cause you kind of talk about the whole concept of like infinite possibility and just like really, really using your intention. So I was like, I'm going to grow my breasts, like I'm going to grow them like a whole size just to see. And they totally did. They got way fuller. They grew an entire cup size. And so that was, great on a physical level, but, they just like they actually started to feel pleasurable to me, which was really shocking because that was actually even earlier on in mine and my husband's relationship where we did have like a decent sex life and I enjoyed it. I still didn't really want my breasts to be touched. That just wasn't like a sexual part of my body, which is totally wrong. So also during this time, it was pretty soon after vaginal kung fu, I became pregnant for my second pregnancy. And I was completely blown away. Like that was my second pregnancy was probably it is actually probably the most sexually powerful time in my whole life. Like I feel like I just desired myself kind of like a partner would. Like I totally fell in love like with myself and desired myself. And that was something that I absolutely did not feel in my first pregnancy. It was very, very disconnected the first time. So I feel like all of that work I had done, the previous like 9 months or whatever it was, just like I was activated, just fully like I had just gotten rid of so much programming, whatever stuff was like stuck in my body, like it was gone and just made space for all of this, pleasure and sensation and stuff to just arise pretty much. And one of the first things that happened like really early on, I think I was maybe only like a couple months pregnant or something like that. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like my breasts just started to throb with pleasure. I was like, just unprovoked, like I wasn't touching them, like nobody was touching them. And they just started on their own accord, just started to feel pleasurable as if somebody were touching them. And there were times where I would wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, like out of sleep, and they would be full of pleasure. So then I would have to do the breast massage pretty much. And that's when I was like, okay, like this feels amazing. I'm going to try this nipplegasm thing and see what happens. Like, so I did, I spent like just tons of dedicated time, massaging them, like the whole breast and then the nipple as well. Like I just focused a long time on the nipple and I couldn't even like stop. It just felt so amazing to me. Like I just, I'm like, what's happening? I'm pregnant. Like this feels so good. Like what's happening? Like in my experience, there is you have a nipplegasm. Like it just feels like this very, very like, I guess it feels most similar to me in a way, maybe to G-spot. For me, it's very prolonged. Like it's definitely like markedly feels like, a super heightened pleasure that lasts for like a long time, but also kind of like can get higher and continue.
And here's Natasha from the episode BTE, Big Tit Energy, which is season 1, episode 25.
Well fucked, oh stars.
I am so thankful to have been brought back to the attention of my breasts because early in my life I had large breasts and it was awkward for me. And I would hide and cover my breast so much that I got a tan line on my arm from holding my arms across my chest and hiding all summer long. I was definitely not occupying my breast. And it's so sad, like thinking back about how long I spent that way, and then reconnecting through the breast massage and occupying that space is so fantastic. Everyone thinks that they want large breasts, but really we just need to own what we have and occupy that space. Oh yeah, there's so much hiding and so much shame that was with that. The hunching and the covering and the weird, like the big baggy clothes that I would wear to kind of hide it. My best summation would be that if I had presented myself in a more upright and free way, or in a even dressed pretty, even if it wasn't scandalous,
Yeah.
that someone would find me a whore, basically. And so much of my youth had been put on me that you don't want to be that, and you don't want people to perceive of you that way, even if it's not true. I think it was just kind of hiding that feminine. And I would, even when I was younger and I was coming into having breasts, I would dress like a boy, just so much more masculine, and have short hair. And now I have long wavy hair, and I wear dresses and show some cleavage sometimes. And it's so much more free and joyful than this scared hiding. And so I started the daily breast massage of just in the shower or anytime I was changing my clothes, just do a few minutes of caring for myself and massaging my breast. And within, I think it was like a month, I was noticing the skin is firming up. It wasn't that thin, crepey, floppy, fold in half boob that I had previously. And slowly over time, my breasts began to fill back out. And post-nursing, I think I had dropped 2 cup sizes from prior to pregnancy. And then this brought me back to where I was. And in a very much happier space about them. And I still have that happiness about my breast. And I'm not covering and hunching and hiding with them. And looking people in the eye. When you pass someone by, and I wasn't shying away. I just had so much more confidence. And it didn't matter what I used to think that person would have thought of me.
And Sarah from season 6, episode 16, Become Unfuckwithable.
Well fucked All-Stars.
One of my favorite modules in the salon was the one that I thought would have been least powerful for me. I don't know why I thought that, but it was the salon all about your breasts. And I thought, my breasts are fine. There's nothing wrong with them. They're healthy. What's the big deal? And I was so blown away by the content in there and the breast massage and the real getting to know myself on that level that, again, I just had never spent that time or that energy doing that before. And having had children, I had subscribed to, I guess, what is that commonly held belief that after you breastfeed, and I breastfed both my children exclusively, you look deflated, and you don't have perky breasts anymore. And, you're kind of considered older, or, whatever the commonalities that people have around them are. And as I started doing breast massage, I noticed that my anatomy was changing. My breasts were perkier. They were fuller. They didn't look deflated anymore. I'm 43 years old, so it's not, I haven't breastfed for many years. It's been a long time since, I've done anything like that. But that idea of giving yourself that love and that nurturing and that energetic nourishment that maybe you didn't have during those years of your life really hit me really intensely. And I saw a difference right away. And it was mind blowing again to think, so wild that I've done so much personal growth work already. And I'm at this new frontier and there's so much more for me here. And it was just beautiful. It really made me feel like a queen and powerful and beautiful in ways that I hadn't felt, and confident in ways that I hadn't felt in a long time. I had breasts at an early age. It was the topic of discussion, amongst family members at gatherings and amongst friends who hadn't gone through puberty yet, when I was in school. And so I felt self-conscious around that. And this was long before pregnancy and nursing and all of that. And so it felt like a reclamation to reclaim that energy for myself. And it definitely was a breakthrough. And in addition to having breakthroughs with other types of orgasms and having them in the way you talked about, like full body experiences, I think the breast salon really contributed to that, because I think it opened up channels that had been dormant in my energy for a long time. And I remember the first week of doing breast massage, my libido was off the charts. And I remember thinking, how funny is it, Sarah, that you thought this was going to be the salon that didn't do that thing for you? And this is a salon that really just blew the lid off of your energy in every way. So I encourage anyone who's considering any of your salons, if there's a salon that pops up and you think, oh, I don't need that, that's probably the one you should go sign up for, because it's probably going to hold all those things that you need to unlock. And if you're willing to see it with the beginner's mind, as they say in Buddhism, you'll have a really profound experience.
The Well Fucked Woman Salon opens soon. In this 10-week online program, I have compiled the best of my over 30 years of orgasmic experience to take you over the edge into a lifetime of bliss. You will learn step-by-step instructions for the deeper vaginal orgasms, G-spot, cervical, and squirting, how to transform challenging menstruation, PMS, and menopause into blissful portals, self-pleasuring 101, and how to channel sexual energy into creative genius, using your feminine essence to build a life of ease and pleasure. Of course, breast massage to tone, lift, enlarge, and activate the orgasmic potential of your breasts, and how to give your man enlightened blowjobs and handjobs. Come and get it. Go to kimanami.com/wet for a preview video series and to be notified of when the salon opens. Thank you so much for listening. Subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and send somebody else the gift of a multi-orgasmic and transformational love life by sharing this episode with them. If you'd like to go deeper into all things orgasms, sign up for my free Orgasmopedia series, where you'll learn about 9 different types of orgasms everyone can have. Go to kimanami.com and you'll see the sign up there. Come one, come all.